Hi everyone. I am not good with these like face videos obviously, but I am here kind of like discussing how much contact you should have with reins because as you probably or maybe know, maybe you guys haven't looked, I do have a TikTok. It should be linked in my description. If it's not, I will put it in comments or something. Um But yeah, on TikTok, I saw someone make a video and they weren't hating on Harlow. If you know Harlow Luna White, she's a pretty, what's the word for it? Um, she's pretty well known in the equestrian community. I feel like a lot of people follow her. I used to follow her a lot. I don't much anymore, mainly because I've seen in like a lot of shows, if you zoom in on the video, which I tend to do to look at the collection with the reins, um, Panda's mouth has started bleeding. And I saw that in the video. I hadn't noticed in their last show, but I saw in the video, and I really zoomed in on it, and his mouth was bleeding. Um, you could see it in the corner, and it was staining, like the corner of his mouth. Um, so I have it pulled up here on my trusty PC of exactly how much contact you should have with a horse, with the horse's mouth, and how much you should not have. And yeah, we're gonna get started. Okay, so starting off with a quote unquote light connection. The reins should be straight, comma, not looped, allowing you to feel the horse's mouth. Um, and that doesn't mean like have a light connection, like give them the reins, but it means not pulling back on their mouth so much. And I know a lot of beginners do this. But yeah, that's something really important to learn. I feel like in horseback riding, it honestly depends, but it is very important to learn, especially if, like you have an old horse like kind of like Panda. Um, I'm not exactly sure how old Panda is. I know he is getting into those older years, and especially with the way Harlow was handling him, she had his head kind of pulled to his chest, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It is. I'm not saying it's bad, and I'm not trying to hate on Harlow, but it is not needed. Even in dressage, it's not needed for their head to be that high if you're trying to collect them or correct. If you're trying to correct them and get him to back up for like a few steps, then yes, that is what you need to do. But if you're trying to simply collect him, that's not the way to do it. Next, elastic and consistent. The rider's hands and arms must follow the movement of the horse's head and neck at each gait. So like if Harlow or well if someone were to hold the horse's head at the walk, because that's like where the gait is. It's just I think it's a 2 beat gait. Um like that simple. Yeah. You have to change it for all of the 4 gaits. Walk, trot, canter, and gallop if you end up galloping. Um Dynamic. The amount of contact changes. It should be light when balanced, but can temporarily become firmer to resemblance a horse that has fallen on the forehand. Driving into the bit. The contact should feel like the horse is moving from behind your hand, not you pulling them. So what I saw with Harlow's riding in the video was she was more pulling Panda back, but at the same time having him move in the trot. And yes, she did look collected, but I don't know if the judges spotted how she was holding Panda back and not letting him catch his actual stride that he was supposed to be at. And finally, how much not to have. It's a very interesting wording. No heavy or rigid pressure. So avoid a fixed, strong, or unyielding. I cannot talk today. Unyielding pull. So like, it's not saying don't have. It's not saying have slack in the reins, like let them droop, but instead like don't. It's not like saying don't let his head move, but it's also saying okay, he can move, but he doesn't. But the said horse doesn't move where the rider doesn't want them to. I guess it's fun. Okay, next one. No dead or slack reins. So drooping the reins, I guess. Isn't. So yeah, if the reins are completely loose, you cannot effectively communicate with the horse, which is something I see a lot of riders mess up on, is they think their horse isn't listening to them when they ask them to turn or switch leads. But their reins are all the way down on the horse's neck, and so the horse can't feel the contact, and then so doesn't reply to what the rider is asking. And a sudden sharp jerk later can cause fear or resistance. Yeah, so say my reins are slack, right? And like they're all the way down, like my hands are just here and we're just kind of sitting here. And then randomly I pull the horse off to the side and I really tug on the reins. That's not only gonna hurt the horse's mouth. Lord, I cannot talk today. Gonna hurt the horse's mouth, but that's also gonna teach them to resist that pulling. And they're also gonna get a lot duller. Okay. So no quote unquote leaning. The horse should not be using your hands as support. It should not be like you needing a stronger contact, but you should always have a contact with the horse's mouth. No fixed position. The hands must not be frozen in place. They must yield with the horse. Oh, my bad. When the horse yields to maintain trust. So basically what that means, your hands cannot stay in one position the whole ride, especially if you're changing gaits. If you're just staying at a walk, then sure, your hands can kind of like just kind of sit here. But if you're changing from walk to trot or trot to canter or walk to canter, especially, your hands have to move with the horse. It's not like, or the reins are gonna literally fall out of your hands. Okay, and key takeaways, the quote-unquote thread concept. Imagine a thin, almost invisible line, not a tight rope, which I take away from that. So imagine your reins as like, what's the word for it? As like an elastic. They're stretchy. That doesn't mean they need to be pulled back all the way, because when they go forward, or no, okay, never mind. I'm out of that concept. Goal is self-carriage. The goal of contact is to eventually have the horse carry itself, needing very little help from your hands. So, especially in like Western dressage or Western pleasure, you see the rider's hand is all the way out in front of them, and the horse does what it's supposed to do with little contact. That's exactly what you want from having contact. It comes from behind. Proper contact is created by driving the horse forward with your seat and legs into a steady, soft, and receiving hand. That's a big takeaway, especially one that a lot of trainers talk about, and obviously Harlow's trainer hasn't. That's all we have for today, and I hope that we got takeaways from that. I will post the picture of exactly what Harlow did in my community page. Bye guys, have a happy late Valentine's Day.